Welcome to the Dementia Aware training. My name is Amanda Oporta, and today I'm going to be your narrator. My goal is to bring you some information so that we begin to support our communities by seeing the person first and not the disease, as well as supporting our care partners across our state. This training was created by Dementia Friendly Indiana communities and is being used across our state to bring awareness and inspire organizations to embrace Hoosiers affected by different challenges of dementia. Let's dive into what you can expect from today's training. First, we'll review some compelling statistics for people living with dementia. These numbers will give us a clear picture of the impact dementia has on our communities. Next, we'll explore why awareness matters. Understanding dementia can significantly improve how we interact with those affected and foster more compassionate environments. We'll then clarify what the disease is and isn't. This section will help dispel common myths and provide accurate information about dementia. Following that, we'll identify potential signs and symptoms. Recognizing these early can lead to timely support and intervention. Furthermore, we'll discuss creating supportive environments and improving communication. Simple changes can make a big difference in the quality of life of those living with dementia. Lastly, we'll discuss how to respond to urgent situations. Going through this training will not make you a professional. However, it can create better understanding of how to provide safe and supportive environments for clients and customers. Statistics. Here is some eye-opening statistics about Alzheimer's and dementia in the United States. Currently, 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease. This number is projected to nearly double by 2050, reaching an estimated 12.7 million. These figures highlight the growing impact of the disease on our aging population. Keeping in mind that these statistics only reveal those who are living with Alzheimer's type dementia, and does not include those living with other types of dementia or those who are under age of 65. Furthermore, 1 in 10 adults aged 45 and older report experiencing early cognitive declines. This statistic underscores the importance of early detection and awareness of cognitive health. Lastly, consider this. 1 in 3 seniors who pass away each year have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. Let that sink in. Take a look around your space. That is 1 out of 3 of us that will be affected by this disease. Here we see the impact of Alzheimer's disease, specifically in Indiana. At present, there are 130,000 people ages 65 and older that are living with Alzheimer's disease in the state. Again, emphasizing that these statistics are only for those who are living with Alzheimer's disease and not other dementias or younger than the age of 65. This increase highlights the critical need for awareness and resources, as Alzheimer's is already the 8th leading cause of death in Indiana. These statistics underscore the widespread impact of Alzheimer's, not just on individuals and families, but on our communities and healthcare systems. Currently, dementia care costs are a staggering $136 billion annually. This number is not only significant in itself, but is projected to be more than triple, reaching over 1.1 trillion by 2050. These numbers include unpaid caregiving costs, those who have left their jobs to provide care, those diagnosed with dementia and can no longer work, healthcare costs across the span of the disease, and the result of stress-related illnesses that care partners face and develop when caring for another person becomes overwhelming, and so much more. By acknowledging these projections, we can understand the need for our communities to be supportive with their own residents who may be struggling to care for someone living with dementia. It's not just a personal or healthcare issue, it's an economic one as well. Each year, U.S. businesses face over $34 billion in costs related to absenteeism. workday distractions, and the strain on employees who are caregivers. Now, imagine the potential savings and benefits if businesses invest in supporting their caregiving employees. For every dollar invested in the support, businesses can see a return of $3 to $14. This is a compelling case for why businesses should consider caregiving support programs as a strategic investment. By understanding this, companies not only improve their bottom line, but also foster a supportive work environment that values and aids employees balancing work and caregiving responsibilities. Why awareness matters. Understanding why dementia awareness matters is crucial for both personal and professional environments. First, recognizing that communication challenges with clients or customers may be due to dementia can help us prepare with better responses. Secondly, reducing stigma is essential. When we openly discuss and support those living with dementia, we break down barriers and foster a more inclusive community. Another key point is the importance of social and civic engagement. By promoting these activities, we help decrease the risk of isolation, which is a significant concern for individuals living with dementia and their care partners, who are also affected by isolation. It's important to acknowledge that dementia can affect any of us, either directly or indirectly. This awareness helps us create environments where everyone can thrive, regardless of their diagnosis. By understanding and addressing these aspects, we contribute to a more compassionate and supportive society. Let's all aim to make a difference. Diving into basics of dementia, it's crucial to understand what dementia actually is and what it isn't. Dementia is an umbrella term. Dementia encompasses a variety of cognitive changes. It's important to recognize that while there are multiple types of dementia, the most prevalent is Alzheimer's disease. This particular type of dementia is irreversible, meaning it progresses over time and cannot currently be cured. However, not all dementia-like symptoms are permanent. Some conditions that mimic dementia, such as those caused by infections or other medical issues, are categorized under a different term, delirium. These symptoms can often be reversed with appropriate medical treatment. Understanding this distinction between reversible and irreversible conditions is crucial in providing appropriate care and support. This knowledge helps us foster a more supportive environment for those affected and acknowledge varied experiences within the realm of dementia. While Alzheimer's disease is the most well-known, accounting for up to 60% of diagnoses, there are several other common forms of dementia. Vascular dementia, often caused by a reduced blood flow to the brain, is one of those types. Lewy body dementia, which might show symptoms like hallucination or sleep disturbances and can mimic Parkinson's-like symptoms. Frontotemporal dementia can affect personality and behavior more noticeably. Another type is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, often associated with drug and alcohol misuse and vitamin deficiencies. Some dementia-like symptoms are reversible and are usually result from factors like infection or UTI or sepsis. There can be metabolic imbalances, medication interactions, and sleep and dehydration can play a role. All of these can often improve with medical treatment. One commonly overlooked symptom is depression. Depression causes chemical imbalances in the brain that, if goes unchecked, can result in lesion-like damage on the brain. If not treated, depression can become an irreversible damage to the brain. Dementia is progressive and terminal. Dementia is not just about memory loss. While memory issues are often most recognized symptom with dementia, dementia goes beyond that, affecting multiple areas of the brain simultaneously. This progression varies with each individual and can impact different parts of the brain at different times and affects every individual differently. depending on which areas of the brain are involved. Here we're focusing on the progression of dementia and how it affects individuals over time. Let's start by discussing the early stages. Initially, you might notice changes in memory, thinking, and judgment. These cognitive changes are often accompanied by shifts in personality and mood. As dementia progresses in the later stages, physical abilities begin to decline. This can include difficulties with toileting, swallowing, finding the right words, and movement. Additionally, people may struggle with knowing the time of day. It's important to note that while these changes usually occur in this order, the pattern can vary depending on the type of dementia. Some types may present differently, or changes could occur in reverse, such as a Lewy body type dementia, which can sometimes look like Parkinson's disease. It is important to know what type of dementia someone has, as not all Alzheimer's type medications have a good result with other types of dementias, and in some cases can have some severe adverse reactions, including death. Common misconceptions often create bias and stigma. Dementia is not contagious. Fear and stigma can arise from misconceptions about how dementia affects individuals and their interactions with others. Dementia is not always noticeable, especially in the early stages. Many people might continue to engage in their daily activities without others realizing the challenges they face and can carry on very easily in social normal situations. This is due to the rhythmic flow that remains accessible on the left side of the brain where music and rhythm are. Moreover, dementia is not a normal part of aging. While cognitive changes can occur with age, dementia presents a distinct set of symptoms and challenges that go beyond typical aging processes. It's important to honor and recognize that people living with dementia have strengths, interests, opinions, and rich histories. They continue to contribute meaningfully to their families, communities, and societies. Potential signs and symptoms. Some of these signs and symptoms may help you decide if someone may be living with a brain change. While these can be noticeable, some are not, and just one of these signs do not mean the person has dementia. It is a clue that you may need to change your approach to make sure that your customer is receiving the communication that you're trying to give. Any of these signs on their own do not mean that you may be living with a dementia or a brain change. However, a combination of several might indicate that you may need to begin to communicate differently. Some things that you might notice is that someone may be having a difficult time following a conversation, and they may cover that by making a joke or other excuses. They may be more impulsive and unable to judge personal space or appropriate socially normal behavior. Trouble finding words or making decisions, and could be slow to react to questions that you may have. Repeating or struggling to recall recent conversations. These changes are frustrating for them, and it is important to approach with patience and kindness. Under physical challenges, such as balance issues, we may see more frequent falls, and that can be a result of dementia. Vision changes may affect the ability to navigate spaces, and you might notice a slower gait or even shuffling at times. These physical symptoms are intertwined with cognitive changes and reflect the complex nature of dementia's impact on the brain. It's important to recognize that these symptoms are not just isolated occurrences, but are interconnected, showing the broad impact of dementia on both the mind and body. Here are 10 signs and symptoms for your own self-evaluation as well. Pause here. You may take a photo of these 10 warning signs for you to review for yourself. You can look up these signs and symptoms at alz.org or anywhere online. If you notice any of these signs and symptoms in yourself, it is important to consult with a healthcare professional. Creating supportive environments and improving communication is the best way to help. Your approach is very important, as in the last few slides, you've learned that many different parts of the brain are affected. So perception also changes. We can help by approaching from the front. at eye level with welcoming body language. It's best to approach one person at a time. If too many are coming at once or you're coming in too quickly, this can cause the amygdala reaction to have a fight, flight, or fright response when there is too much overstimulation. Likewise, the approach to communication can make the interaction more successful. Slowing down to give some time for someone to process what is said or ask of them can help both of you. And if you have already noticed that this person could be living with a brain change, there is no reason to argue a point that doesn't seem logical. Rather, listen and always make it a point to speak directly to the person, even if there is a helper with them, making sure that they know they are included in the conversation as well. Using nonverbal cues, such as waving them towards a table or chair to sit, or mimicking drinking a cup, can be useful when words are difficult to understand or express. As always, the key is patience. If something isn't working out, take a moment to slow down and try again. It is important throughout the interaction that you are being a supportive listener. Try to keep positive. Some comments can seem personal, but if the body language does not always match that, or these words are repetitive, it could be that the person is using rhythm or forbidden language that has been stored in the right temporal lobe of the brain, because the normal language center in the left side of the brain has lost some of their normal language patterns. This is why we sometimes hear people upset when they say, "My sweet Sunday school grandma would never say anything like that." And this is something completely unlike her. She is finding words that she has left to use in her forbidden bank of her memory. We should, of course, continue to treat an adult with dignity and talk to them as normal, but very pointedly or simple as possible in these situations. Maintain respect for someone, even with the most severe cases of dementia, is very important to how they continue to show up as well. As always, one approach doesn't always fit everyone, and responses will be different. That doesn't mean that you are failing either. That just means we try again and even find a helper who may be able to try another approach. At the end of the day, we will all feel good that we know we have tried and we have made sure to still include the person who is living with dementia and their family. How can we create supportive environments in our businesses? Several things happen as we age. We have changes in our vision, physical abilities, and reaction times. However, for someone with brain change or cognitive challenges, we may see that happen much more rapidly. In all stages of dementia, we are very susceptible to experience something called tunnel vision. This is very typical and varies at different stages. Early in dementia, where many people are not yet aware they have changes and have not yet been diagnosed with dementia, the vision is already changing in the occipital lobe. If you were to put your hand around your eyes to create something like scuba gear, you too can mimic the experience of scuba vision. This limits your peripheral vision. This is where it is difficult to see objects or people coming from the side. Driving is still common in this stage. The person can still be a very good driver. However, have no idea that someone is walking out in front of them from the side or see an object coming from the side. This is not necessarily poor judgment or a bad driver. This is just lack of vision, which will create a slower reaction. Some people, once receiving a diagnosis and understanding this can happen, will decide to make the decision on their own to stop driving. By middle stages, someone may be experiencing binocular vision. So take your scuba mask to binocular, where you are seeing two round shapes rather than a scuba mask. Try this so that you can experience what it might be like to live with middle stage dementia vision. This is usually when depth perception changes for someone. And it is important for our environments and our places of business to recognize that some simple changes can help someone navigate the space more safely. Both vision changes show us why it's important to approach from the front and to have good lighting to improve visibility. In later stages of dementia, we can experience something called monocular vision. So now, as you have your binoculars on, close and cover your non-dominant eye. Once you realize that this type of vision change causes you to be more careful with your footing and walking around in your space, you can see the outward symptoms of someone else too that may be trying to navigate your space experiencing this phenomenon. Shuffling gait or feeling their way around and even more hunched over the normal in one direction, trying to see their space and their footing. More reliance upon their helper is needed at this stage. All of these changes cause an increased fall risk for the person. But that does not mean they should stay home and not be able to try and enjoy their communities. So it is up to us to understand how to create supportive environments by enhancing our spaces according to what we know about the challenges someone may face. Some things to understand with our choice of flooring in our businesses is that with depth perception changes, it may be hard to tell if a line in the tile is a step up or down. This may cause it to look like there is something floating just above the floor that needs to be picked up or moved, and a shiny floor may look like it is wet. In all of these cases, it may cause someone to be very careful when walking or try to step over or up, making the person off balance or have a difficult time simply navigating the space. Keep in mind that someone living with dementia may feel very distracted in trying to navigate the space around them, and they may have the increased risk of fall and feel very embarrassed for it. So we want to support them in every environment possible, and we suggest that simple mat flooring is the best in these cases. Depth perception is also a challenge in restrooms. One of the top reasons that people do not frequent places of business is also due to restrooms and the way they are set up. If the colors of a restroom do not provide contrast, it causes it to be difficult to see a white sink on a white wall, making it harder to navigate the space or find the toilet or other fixtures. Then it is less likely that someone feels comfortable and is able to be successful in this environment. Glossy surfaces look wet and can make it seem like it is slippery. Contrasting colors can help here so that you can see the fixture in the restroom and help someone be more independent to navigate that space. Finding your way can be challenging when you don't automatically see what you've entered a room for. Often, we all forget why we come into the room in the first place. But if we have short-term memory challenges, then it is even harder to recall or even impossible when entering a room to remember just exactly why I entered it in the first place. This becomes a common problem in restrooms that having winding spaces with rows of stalls or separate areas for sinks are hard to navigate. Not only can it be frustrating, it can be overwhelming. This can cause a person to shut down, to stand there trying to recall why they came in there in the first place, and without prompting or cueing can cause accidents to happen. Additionally, extra entrances and exits cause someone to get lost by exiting in the wrong area. Clear signage can help reduce some of these navigation problems. But it is best to have a family restroom where a spouse may be able to enter, or a helper, if they are of the opposite sex, can assist and or stand outside the door to offer assistance if called for. Simple signage can make a big difference. The key is to have contrasting colors to see the images and the simple messages and having them placed at eye level so they are easy to find. This is also the most cost-effective way to create an easy to navigate environment. Managing noise or being aware of how noise affects communication is important. Some noise cannot be reduced, but understanding your customer also means that sometimes it is important to locate a quieter area to communicate if you are noticing problems with communication, focus, or the customer seems overstimulated. Filtering out foreground and background noise is an ability that lessens with the brain change. This can make someone sometimes pay attention to other stimulations or conversations nearby rather than paying attention to you. That can cause miscommunication and frustration. Understanding how to manage noise in your business not only helps those with dementia, but also those who are easily overstimulated, like children and those living with autism as well. Urgent situations and how to respond. When responding to urgent situations, it's crucial to approach each scenario with empathy and understanding. Let's go through some strategies here. Our goal is to be like a detective, to see what we can discover will help the customer best. First, if a customer becomes agitated or upset, take a moment to observe and understand what might have changed in their environment or their situation, and slow things down to listen to what they are trying to communicate. This insight will help you to address their situation. Secondly, if someone makes an inappropriate comment or becomes loud, it is important to redirect the conversation calmly. Your composed demeanor can help diffuse the situation and prevent further escalation. Even taking a deep breath and slowing down can sometimes help them mimic you and feel more calm and improve their communication. When someone is struggling to make a decision, offer them simple, limited choices. This approach not only respects their autonomy, but can reduce stress and confusion. Additionally, should a person begin to argue, a simple apology can go a long way and improve chances for the customer to realize that you are on their side and want to better understand. Your goal is to create a safe and supportive atmosphere. If you recognize that your customer is very confused and upset, alone, or appears lost and are unable to provide information about themselves or others who might be able to help, they may be in danger to themselves or others, and you should call 911. Our community should also be a safe place to get treatment. If the change that you are noticing is more than dementia, it should be addressed. And/or if the person has left their safe space, their family might be looking for them, and it is crucial for them to connect with. Here are additional resources in our community that can be helpful to you or your customers or someone you may know. You can take a picture of this page and/or visit www.dfindiana.org. Congratulations on completing the Level 1 Dementia Awareness Training. This is significant. It is a milestone in becoming a more inclusive and supportive person for individuals living with dementia. Next, you'll be asked to complete a short quiz and fill out a survey. This helps us ensure the effectiveness of our training and gather valuable feedback for improvement. It is important to note that for your business to be recognized as a dementia-aware organization, at least 50% of your staff or volunteers need to complete this training. By doing so, you're not only enhancing your service, but also opening the doors to being more supportive in your community. I want to also let you know if you are taking this training as an individual for your business or organization, once completed, you will print off a certificate of completion, and then you will show that certificate of completion to your manager or the owner. Oops. While we're here, I want to tell you a little bit about moving on to become a dementia supportive organization. This is taking the next step up. This is where you enhance your environment and communication practices to better support people living with dementia and their care partners. You apply these real changes in your business location. You can make changes with your signage. You can make changes that are simple and easy to do, that can be more accessible for individuals to navigate your space that are living with dementia. Level 2 is designated for organizations that have completed Level 1 and that want to apply real-world dementia-friendly practices. They're ready to create accessibility and environmental changes for their clients and customers. And they're ready to take the next step in becoming an outstanding supporter in their community. For more information or to learn how to move on to this next step, you will email admin@dfindiana.org. Additionally, you can locate this information about how the Level 2 supportive organizations was piloted at the Monroe County Library. I highly suggest to watch this 5-minute clip about how Dementia Friendly Wilmington piloted this initiative. We continue to support this initiative moving forward. Thank you once again for completing this Level 1 Dementia Aware organization training. We suggest that you reach out to your action team in your area and see how your community is coming together to support others living with dementia and care partners in your area. We all can make a difference. You can find out more about your action team at www.dfindiana.org.